The Instagram algorithm has changed yet again. Thanks for that one, Mark. Always keeping me on my toes. For the past 3 years, it's been all about Reels. That has been where you can get growth and exposure for your business or as an online creator. But things have changed. It's time to say move over Reels and hello carousel posts. In this video, I'm going to show you the real data from my own Instagram account and how changing my strategy to include more carousel content has increased my reach. I'm also going to walk you through a little bit of my process and how I make these carousel posts and the best tips for you guys so that you can get these results too. Because even the way that I make my carousel posts have changed in the last year, and it's crazy. If you are sitting here because your growth has either stagnated, your strategy is not working anymore, or you just feel like you're in a fist fight with the algorithm every day trying to get your content in front of your audience, then this video is for you. Welcome. For those of you that might be new here, my name is Ellen, and I have been making content for the internet for over 10 years now. For the past 5 years, I've worked as a social media strategist, and I help other people start and grow their own online businesses. Please forgive me because I need to go on a little bit of a rant about Instagram before we dive into the nitty-gritty tips around carousels, because the algorithm has changed a lot, and I've always been the creator that never likes to blame the algorithm. I've always said good content is good content, and more often than not, business owners and creators actually need to take a look at their own content instead of blaming the algorithm. But at the moment, I'm seeing a huge contrast between TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And just from the perspective of a user, how much better TikTok and YouTube are. The variety of content on my TikTok For You page just sucks me in every time. And I'm curious if any of you guys relate to this, but like when I compare that to the experience of coming onto Instagram, I get the same video over and over again, or I get the same audio out of the like 10 reels that I scroll through. 8 of them will have the same trending audio, and you get sick of hearing the same song over and over again. I also find, in contrast to YouTube, my homepage is full of really interesting videos that I'm like, ooh, I want to watch that, click on that, put that in my watch later. And I just don't get that when I come onto Instagram. And I'm really seeing a lack of ownership of the algorithm. I think Instagram likes to blame their creators a lot, controversial opinion, and say, oh, you guys just need to make more content or make better content. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, hey, you guys need to stand up and start supporting your creators and making an algorithm that people actually want to spend time on your app with. I'm pushed so many short videos that I just don't engage with. I'm pushed videos that are just about the same topic, aka Instagram growth, over and over again. And like, that's not just me as a person. I like a lot of other things. I like golf. I like puppies. I want to see funny videos. I want to see interesting stories on my explore page. And I'm just really lacking in seeing that content at the moment. And this really brings me to the center point or the topic of today's videos, which is carousel posts. We are seeing across all industries a rise in the use of these posts in our strategies, and also the effectiveness and the reach. Katie Steckley did a video on this recently, which I loved. And she actually did a survey. So she came in with the hard facts, and it showed there was a huge chunk of people who have seen an increase in reach with their carousels in the last 3 months. Speaking from my own experience, carousels is the main area where I am seeing growth at the moment. If we bring up my very own Instagram, you'll see that there was a big dominance or a big reliance on Reels, because that was where I got my reach. That was where I knew I could get the most eyeballs on my content if it was formatted as a reel. Now, don't get me wrong, I've always been a fan of carousels. I've always used that in my launches, especially when I'm really doing a big promo and trying to sell something. Nothing quite beats a carousel post to display all my student testimonials and that kind of thing. But last year, you'll see that like this is a carousel post that was advertising an event. Then we have reel. We have one still graphic post that's just like a meme that I'm reposting. Then we have reel, another reel. And then these were the graphic posts that I was leaning into in 2024, these tweet style graphics. I still think these are popular, but I'm gonna share some new strategies with you next. But overall, there's a huge dominance of reels. Now, if we come back to the last couple of weeks, you'll see I have a reel, a carousel post, a reel, a carousel post, a reel, a carousel post. So I'm like almost alternating between a reel and a carousel. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a struggle for me. I cannot say carousel, and I'm making an entire video about them. And what I wanna bring your attention to is the engagement on these. This is a very simple day in the life carousel post. And arguably, I've just put up a post doing this exact same thing, this exact same like kind of story, day in my life, come shoot content with me. I put it up as a reel with a voiceover this morning, and it's not performing nearly as well. Now, there are a few, factors like that's a sponsored reel, so that impacts its like reach and how much people engage with it. But it's just really obvious to me that audiences are loving this format and therefore the algorithm is pushing it out. And there's a couple of different factors that contribute to this. When you have a carousel post like this, people are gonna stick around and flick through the post and they're gonna read what's on each slide. And the longer someone stays on a post, the more the algorithm picks this up and they're like, ooh, okay, so Sarah is reading Alan's post at the moment and she's really gone through like all these slides and taken a pause on each one. It must be a really good post. Let's push it out to more people. So time spent reading or interacting with a piece of content is one of the key things that the algorithm measures. And I think carousels are such a good way to hook people in and tell a story. Now, when I went back and looked at the last 3 months of content, some of my most popular posts were still reels. So we have this one here that's hit 459 likes. And this was a kind of funny spoof on, oh, I'm a social media manager and I'm always late putting up posts, or I'm always putting up posts when I'm on holiday or in the middle of doing something. So that really just hit with my audience and they loved it. The other popular reel, I feel like has an advantage because anytime you're announcing something like big news, like this reel, for example, where I'm announcing a new studio that I'm opening, which, you know, fast forward, here I am filming in it, which is pretty cool. But anything where I'm announcing something, it's automatically going to get more engagement, whether it's a photo post or a video like this. So I kind of disregard that one. So it's not to say reels aren't working at all, but when I look at the average amount of likes, when I look at what's consistently performing well for me, it is the carousel posts. Apart from those 2 outlying reels, my reels likes and engagement have varied from 45 likes to 140, 150, 130. But again, this was a carousel post that I put up that same week and it's boom, gone up to 230 likes. And if we open the insights here, this post has brought me 6 new followers. It has led to, 26 people tapping on my external link taps, which is like your website. So we're driving traffic to my website, amazing. 84% of the people interacting are existing followers. So great to connect with the people that have already followed me and to sell to them, right? Overall, we're reaching over 3,000 accounts. And again, if I come to a reel that, you know, typically I might expect to be high performing previously, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, this was a little montage with a Legally Blonde audio for a bit of fun. But if we check out this one, it's got a similar amount of accounts reach, but that engagement really is a lot lower. That engagement is kind of lacking there, and it only brought in 1 new follower for me. Now, the contrast again between these posts aren't huge, but if you are a business owner who is short on time and you're like, where should I be investing my energy? It's kind of a no-brainer to me to be putting more time and energy into your carousel posts this year. What I want to do now is jump into a few tips because we know carousel posts are popping off at the moment, but how do we actually make good posts? Tip number 1, it's all about storytelling. So with a carousel post, again, we're trying to get people to stick around. And if you just put everything onto one slide or just chuck up a meme like what I was doing last year, you're not really telling a story. You're not really captivating your audience and hooking them in. It's time to stop sharing these basic, simple how-to carousels, how-to posts, or listicles on a graphic, basic testimonials. What people want to see with this carousel content and what's performing well in the algorithm are things like case studies, leaning into your experiences, your stories, your opinions. I've talked about this a little bit in a few other videos, but this is also where the rise of AI has really impacted our industry. And you can go to ChatGPT and get it to spit out some quick facts for you that you could share on Instagram. But what it can't do is replace human experiences, right? But at the end of the day, your stories are what are going to outshine a post that's been generated by ChatGPT. My next tip here is you really want to make sure you're using powerful hooks. If we are telling a longer form story here, if we are taking someone through a case study, they're not going to read until the end if they're not being hooked in. Now, a creator that I think is doing this really well is Social Han on Instagram. And she is someone that I always look to for inspiration with my graphics because I just think that is her zone of genius. And if we scroll through her Instagram here, you can see the effectiveness of her hooks. Obviously, there's other things like design and color that are contributing here. And it also brings me really nicely to the next tip around like your text and your hook. It doesn't have to be long. Like if we look at some of Han's posts here, you'll see like there's actually not super long sentences here. Like there's, you know, other elements, there's screenshots sometimes, but it's like just really punchy and to the point. This one was one of my favorites. You can see from the spike of engagement actually that it's got that I think it's everybody's favorites. Each slide isn't like overstuffed with text. And I think this is something that I've personally struggled with when I have been creating my content, is like I just want to put as much text as possible onto a graphic. And I've really had to pull myself back and realize that actually there's a lot of impact in saying less or having less text or spreading it out across a couple of slides rather than trying to fit it all into one. Another creator I think that is doing really well with this is Carolyn from Impact Media House, and her content is just beautiful. You'll see she also uses a lot of like images in her graphic carousels. And again, those hooks are just like so juicy. They're grabbing my attention and I want to like go through the entire carousel and read it all. Now there's obviously a bigger conversation here around like planning your content, coming up with ideas, understanding your audience. And I actually do have a video coming up that is breaking down that entire process from ideation to creating my content to organizing and posting it. So if you're interested, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. Now, another creator that I had to bring up was her first 100K, also the person who runs the Financial Feminist podcast, in case you're familiar with either of those brands, because she is someone who might be a little bit more relatable for some of you watching. Some of you might look at Carolyn or Han and be like, oh my God, they're so good. Like these girls are top of their field professionals when it comes to making content for social media. But if you are sitting here and you're a beginner, or maybe you're a bit time poor and you don't have as much energy to be putting into all of this content creation, or, you know, maybe you're like me where Instagram isn't the only platform that you're on, so you got to be smart with your time. This is a prime example of what you can be doing instead. Simple photo carousels with text that are just created in Instagram. Like this is so easy for you to create. And again, if we hop back over to my Instagram, you'll notice that some of my carousels where I'm making them in Canva and putting like a lot more effort into it are actually not the ones performing as well. Like this one is one that I technically made in TikTok in the editor, not in Instagram, but you know, similar vibe. I just chuck some photos together and it's like so basic. I kind of like hate this font, but I know it needs that white backdrop to like stand out for people to read it. So like, there's part of me that's like, I just want to make pretty carousels, but these are the ones that are working so well. This has reached 4,000 people. And what's really cool about this is the 72 comments are people who are requesting to download one of my freebie PDF guides. Those are 72 people that are gonna come sign up to my email list when they download that guide. So incredibly valuable for my entire like multi-platform marketing campaign, not just my Instagram growth. But like this just amazes me. Even these like photos, like these are not my best photos. I have like professional shoots that I've done with photographers. And some of these, like this one here is actually a screenshot of a video. It's not even a photo. And same with that one there, like it's a bit blurry, it's a bit fuzzy, but people love this. And that kind of brings me to the next tip that I wanted to share with you when it comes to creating banging carousels that are performing for your business. You need to be a little bit scrappy. You need to be a little bit imperfect with this content creation process. When it comes to Instagram, audiences really do crave that authenticity. Like I used to be someone who was all about having the perfect grid, the perfect feed, and that's just not what Instagram is all about. Okay, there's definitely a few exceptions. You know, there's luxury fashion bloggers, luxury influencers who are still all about the aesthetic. But on a whole, I'm really seeing this lean away from that and a lean instead towards more candid content. Another great account that does this, similar to her first 100K, similar niche, but you guys know that I love the Girls That Invest page. This is a page you should all follow because I just definitely use Simran's experience and knowledge for learning more about social media strategy and how to market a business and grow a community. But if we scroll back to one, what was the post that went like super viral during the tariffs and everything? Oh my gosh, this one, 17,000 likes, 4,000 comments. And I love Simran, but this is not like a fancy post, right? This is not something that's going to take an hour to edit in Canva. This is something you can just whip up. And again, there's a bigger conversation here around, you know, how much this resonated with her audience, the timeliness of it, a little bit of like controversy around it. So that was kind of what, you know, helped it go viral. But what I want to showcase to you here is how you need to just show up authentically, be a little bit messy, and don't worry about making your content perfect, because 9 times out of 10, the not so perfect content, the scrappy content is what's performing better at the moment. So to summarize a few of my key points, it's all about storytelling, it's about using less text, it's about having impact and really hooking people in to scroll through these carousels and stick around. I want to jump into my own Canva now and actually show you a few pieces of content that I've been working on. By the time you watch this video, some of it might be posted on my Instagram, so definitely hop over and go, see it out in the real world doing its thing. Oh, actually, that reminds me, in terms of how I organize my carousel posts, you'll see here that I have a Canva file with 200 pages in it. And I just make all my graphics in one Canva file. So it's really easy to copy and paste and repurpose stuff. Especially when it comes to selling my online courses, you'll see I have a whole bunch of testimonials in here that I can just copy, paste, and repurpose. You'll see that day in the life post I did actually do in Canva. The reason for that is I am finding Instagram, again, I have a lot of complaints with Instagram at the moment, Mark, hit me up. I'm finding it really glitchy, and sometimes it adds weird shadows to my text or moves the text, or the resolution comes out funny. So I have been playing around with just editing it in Canva, and I was testing to see if that would impact my reach at all, because obviously editing in Instagram is preferable because you will get better reach, arguably, with the SEO. But again, arguably, good content is good content. Now this post here, so you want to be a social media manager, you can see I'm working on repurposing it and changing the cover image a little bit. But this is something that I posted last year, and this was what kind of sparked my interest this year in sort of looking more into carousel content, because this was actually in one of the top, I think it's top 5 posts in terms of direct followers that it generated. And then the other post that I've been working on, again, you can see I'm repurposing that same idea here. This one I am playing around with a bit of a fancy photo. I will continue to do more of those candid carousels that are a bit more scrappy with, screenshots and photos that are less fancy, less me in a pink dress. But I think this one will work. I'm interested to see how it performs. I'm also integrating things like fun GIFs that just speak to my brand, a little bit of Legally Blonde GIF. And then lots of before and after posts. You can see this graphic carousel, I'm definitely trying to use a little less text and have more impact. But you'll see what's really interesting about this post is I could have just put up this slide, screenshots, testimonials from my students talking about the Dishing Up Digital School. Instead, I chose to start with a hook that's kind of rage baity. It's a $300 client versus a $5,000 client. Again, this is just something that I know my audience will really resonate with. But then the post doesn't end there. I could have just done that, or I could have just done testimonials. But instead, I really wanted to bring my followers on a journey and educate them, share some of my own personal experience, share my knowledge. And through that, I'm positioning the Dishing Up Digital School as a really great investment. I'm showcasing my knowledge, my skills, my expertise, the results that have come from this program, as well as kind of making my customers or my followers laugh a little bit with that $300 versus $5,000 follower. So yeah, that's what my content is looking like. And again, I've just slotted in more testimonials at the end. I may not use all of them on this post, we'll see, but I made up some extra ones so that I have them in my Canva file ready to go. This one here is kind of under construction. As you can see, I've just dumped all the files in here, but I'm gonna be doing a little before and after carousel to showcase my client work. This one's definitely inspired by Han. Obviously, I'm gonna put my own spin on it and make the post my own. Before and afters, again, such a great thing to be showcasing in a carousel and a great way to sell your services. 91 new followers. I haven't seen that stat yet. My jaw is on the, I'm sorry. Anyone who's not posting carousels at the moment, look at what you are missing out on. This is huge, this is awesome. I think I'm gonna have to stop this video here, otherwise I could blab about carousel content all day long. But if you are new around here and you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribed, make sure you throw this video a like, it helps me a lot. And we're finishing this video with no visuals because my camera's died, and that's another sign that I've been talking way too long. But I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.